Miss Nell stood on business.
Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25
What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate the love and support. We are here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 10, Episode 5. And the name of the episode is called Nell to the No. I want to call it Nell to the No. I want to call it Nell to the No. Y'all, listen, this is my really... Y'all know I've watched Love and Marriage Huntsville in the past. This is my first season being introduced to Miss Nell. And I feel like Miss Nell is becoming my favorite person on the show. I feel like Miss Nell is becoming my favorite person on the show. I don't know how long she's been on the show, but I think that she's a good addition to the show. And I'm really enjoying Miss Nell, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the review. First, we got Miss Nell. She's going to go and visit her son, Lance. She said that she was checking on him mentally and physically now that he's a single dad. Now, for me, there is something, it's something that's not being said. Maybe I missed it when I stopped reviewing the show, but it seems like, or it seems as if Lance found out he had a baby and he has become the sole parent of this baby. But where is the baby mama? Did she not want any kids? Is she in jail? Did she pass away? Where is she? There are times where some women, I believe that a woman is her choice. But I believe that before a woman gives a baby up for adoption, she should be able to get in contact with the father of that baby and see if he wants the baby before she decides to give a baby up for adoption. Now, we don't know what's going on. I could kind of figure out what I think went on later on in the episode when we get to Chris, but for right now, I'm a little confused. I got to make it make sense for me. Now, we know that Lance was living with his parents when he first got the baby. Then he moved back home. And so now he's doing everything by himself for the baby. And he said that he still has to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning because he owns a construction company. He said that even though that this is his third baby, he's not used to everything being on him.
Of course.
Of course you're not. It's usually always left on the woman. If the man is in the house or not, everything is always left on the woman with the baby, especially whether she's working or not. Especially the beginning stages, it's always left on the woman. We've seen it even with Nelly and Ashanti, the clip that was going around. He doesn't really plan on being there for the baby while the baby younger. He only want the baby around, or he really want to start watching the baby when the baby get to walking around.
What kind of bullshit is that?
It seems to me like Lance is finding out what it's like to be a single mother, to be able to juggle a job and juggle a baby, a crying baby, to be everything for a baby. We see that a lot with single mothers. What it also tells me, saying that even though that this is his third child and he's not used to everything being on him, this tells me that this is a baby from a different mother than his previous kid's mother, because he's only speaking of the baby and not of the kids. Right? Was he married before? I don't know. For me, the way that they're talking, it seems like that this baby there's a separate mother from this baby than the rest of his kids' mothers, if those other two share the same mother. He probably got 3 kids with 3 different moms.
Nigga, get out of here with all of that.
But for sure, this baby that he has right now has a different mother than the rest of the kids. I will say this, it is commendable, right? He's making it work. He said that he's tired. It's not like he's asking for help. He's tired, but his mom seen him struggling. And in earlier episodes, she told Chris, which is her husband, that she noticed that when he dropped the baby off at the daycare, he seemed like he was really, really tired and he was struggling. And he has been trying to make it work. And I think I do think that is commendable. So Nell sees that he's struggling. So she tries to come up with a plan, offer to stay 2 days out of the week at his house. He said that he would appreciate the help, but she needs to ask Dad first. What? Why does she need to ask Dad? Now, I'm not married. This could be me being single and me being raised by a single mom, but I don't see a reason why Nell would have to get an okay from her husband to help out her son, especially if he's a single mother. I mean, a single father, right? I don't see the need why she would have to, because I don't think that they would be, if it was their daughter, I don't think that Nell would have to get an okay from Chris to help out the daughter. especially if he's struggling. And I'm trying to understand what will Nell be slacking at home. Where would Nell be slacking at home with Chris, where he would miss her so much that she wouldn't be able to stay at the house for 2 days? I feel like that if he needs her or if he would miss her, he could come over to we're talking about his son. That is his daddy, right? I don't see any resemblance with Chris and Lane. I don't know what's going on. I want to see the DNA test. But what I'm saying is he can come over there to the house as well if he's going to miss his wife. I would think the conversation would be, okay, I'm going to be staying at Lance's house to help him out for 2 days a week. I don't really see a whole, she needs to get an okay from being that this is his son as well. Then they get to talking about Destiny. Nell said that Destiny called her and told her she could have told her about Lance and her new grandbaby. And she said, I don't owe her shit. See, it's the stuff like this with Destiny that I don't like. To me, she just seems so confrontational and she almost seems like she's a ball bust. In what world would Nell call Destiny about Lance and what Lance has going on? That, from what I'm understanding, that wasn't her man. According to Nell, Destiny was flirting with her godson, Twan.
You a motherfucking liar. You knew that?
But Destiny is acting like she was his wife. You shouldn't have been messing with that man in the first place.
You nasty.
I just feel like, to me, that's just too close to home. You shouldn't have been messing with that man in the first place. I remember before I stopped watching the show, I remember Martell mama ended up telling Melody that Ariane was pregnant. Or if she didn't tell her that she was pregnant, she told her that Ariane was having a boy. I do remember her telling her something about the baby. I believe it was a boy because I remember when I remember when Melody told Martell, yeah, your mama told me you was having a boy. I remember that. But that was her daughter-in-law. Destiny, you ain't nobody. That woman don't owe you no loyalty. She don't owe you no loyalty. Chris said that he probably owes her a conversation, but not an explanation because she made it clear that they was dating. I feel like that Destiny was over there trying to play fun girl. I believe that Destiny was over there fucking Lance. I don't think that it was really nothing serious like that. And I think that Destiny, I don't know, Destiny just strikes me as a person who thinks that she's owed something, and every time she talks to somebody, it needs to lead to marriage. You was playing fun girl. So he don't really owe you nothing, in my opinion. He don't owe you nothing. Next, we got Tisha, Kimmy, and Destiny. They ended up meeting at a boutique. It was Tisha and Kimmy first. Tisha is saying that Marceau is always at Black. He spent most of his times at Black. He go and check on the properties and then go back to Black. He come home and shower, then he go back to Black.
Girl, please stop talking. Please stop talking right now.
Tisha, girl, do you hear the stuff that you saying? Ain't no way you gonna tell me that Marceau is just at this bar all the time and he ain't cheating on you. You don't believe what you saying yourself. When Destiny comes in, Kimmy shares with Destiny that Nell asked Tisha about how she felt about the interview that Martell and Ariane did with the girl that claimed that she had both of the Scott brothers.
They don't want that out, bitch.
And that Tisha told Nell that she and Marceau did a live, just watch the live.
Bitch, who? Who?
That's not being transparent. Who the fuck do you think you are that you get to ask me about? You get what I'm saying? Bitch, I'm not no fan of yours. Go and watch the live. If you're going to be in my business asking about me, asking about my grandbabies and shit, if I ask you a question, I expect the answer. Who the fuck does Tisha think she is? Then they talk about the NDAs at Trisha party, right? They talked about Tisha walking into Chris' face. Now, when they showed the clip, I didn't really see her walk in his face. I love Nell, but I don't think that she walked in his face. Probably because Nell wasn't going to let her get in his face. Nell was already bossed up. She did walk over, but she didn't get in his face. She was getting buck and she was getting loud, but she didn't get in his face. You could tell that Kimmy didn't approve of what Tisha was doing. Okay? I feel like Tisha got a lot of balls since Melody is, from what I'm seeing now, Tisha got a lot of balls since Melody not on this show. I think that she feel like she an OG. Well, she is an OG over here, but they don't. Okay. Tisha says that families and marriages are off limits. No, they're not. They have never been off limits. And you keep on saying that they're off limits, but every time we see you taking shots about Nell marriage and infidelity, with the infidelity going on in her marriage and stuff that's going on with Chris in your confessionals all the time. But what I've seen on this show so far, Nell had even told her son, me and my husband, me and your daddy have overcome financial issues. We have overcome infidelity. So it seems to me that she's being forthcoming about infidelity in her marriage. But you to sit up here and tell us that you've never dealt with infidelity in your marriage, girl, you's a lie.
You lying ass bitch.
Nobody believes that. Your mama don't believe it.
Attending a birthday party.
Your mama don't believe it. Your kids don't even believe it. Then Destiny started talking about Martell and Tisha walked off. To me, again, that's not being transparent. How do you feel about Martell? Tell me what you need to say. Say what you need to say about Martell. Destiny says that she never made any comments about what Tisha and Marcel have going on with Martell and vice versa. She said, but I do hold him accountable when he come to her with bullshit. Now, I will give Destiny that. I haven't been watching the show, but I have been seeing clips. She does always hold Martell accountable. Then she started telling them, when I say she, Destiny started telling them that Martell told her that he was moving forward with Ariane.
It's not the ghetto. It's not the ghetto.
Right.
Please don't.
To me, I don't think that was any of their business, especially if they enemies of Martell. But I guess she was trying to show that you was more on their side a little bit. To me, you was going over there telling Martell's business. She ended up telling them that she saw Lance didn't make any eye contact with her, that he was scared.
So let it go.
Kimmy says the least that he could have did was have a conversation. But you was just a fun girl. That's what you are. You don't need a conversation. You was not presented as a girlfriend. And I also think that to me, Destiny seemed like a ball buster to me. She seems like a ball buster that whatever he say to her, she gonna be trying to get buck and get upset about. How are you upset if this was not your man? This is just somebody that you was messing with on the low. First of all, to me, it doesn't seem to me, from the story that we're getting, it doesn't seem to me that Lance even knew that he had a baby on the way. It seemed like this baby came out of the blue. Somebody could have been pregnant. I don't know. But they were trying to reach out to see. That's what it sounded like to me. But whatever. I don't think that he owed her an explanation. They didn't seem to be. Y'all was just dating. So I don't think that he owed you that. That wasn't your man. But you gave up your pussy.
Oh my God.
You gave up your pussy. And now you got feelings and you think that you're owed more than what you are. That you was just being a fun girl, baby. You disrespecting the whole game. You disrespecting the game. You over here calling his mama and shit, charging his mama up.
What kind of whore does that?
You a grown woman. I would have never let his mama see me sweat so she could be going around telling other bitches, especially in the friend group, got me around here looking like I'm chasing her son. Girl, please. That wouldn't even be a storyline for me. They wouldn't even be able to play with me like that or on my name like that. It make you look stupid and it make you look desperate. Or like you don't know how to handle business.
You're looking stupid.
They said that Lance started moving funny before the baby because of something at the vow renewal. So I guess Destiny had said something about maybe Twan. I'm not sure, but she said that somebody close to the family was cute, and she said it to Kimmy, and Kimmy went and told Nell. See, Kimmy, you was dead ass wrong. And still with you, Destiny, you was over there playing fun girl. You look like you was trying to love the crew. Or that you had a chance with anybody. And then she even said, well, I'm single. And if I wanted to date, if that tall glass of water wants to take me out, I'm single. So you just loving the crew. And the thing is, just because she said somebody was fine, that could be innocent, right? Just because you say a nigga is cute don't mean that you're trying to fuck, but it's just too close to home. It's too close to home. And to me, I don't think that Kimmy, you was wrong. That wasn't your place. If she told you something that should have been between y'all, that don't mean that you go and tell Nell, especially if she got something going on with Nell's son. That was messy. That was messy. I don't think that Kimmy ever want to admit that she wrong. I don't know. That pissed me off. I would be pissed if I was Destiny. But Kimmy tried to wiggle her way up out of it. Next, we get Nell and Trisha. They talk about the party. And they talk about Tisha getting into Chris's face. And Nell say, I don't know where she got that big dick energy from, but I'm not having it. She must have thought that she was Destiny or somebody, or she must have got it from Destiny, but I'm not having it, and this ain't what she wants. I say, oh my God. Nell say that Tisha keep fucking with her, and then they ended up showing the receipts. Well, by the receipts, I mean that beautiful bean footage. They kept on rolling beautiful bean footage of Tisha trying to call Nell out for some shit. Okay? And then Nell say that she got in my husband's face. I didn't like that. She crossed the line and she went too far. And what I love about Nell is that Nell is not just saying this to Trisha. She made it known in the moment when latisha was doing it. She made it known in the moment. Girl, get your liquid courage hands out my husband's face. Put your hands down when you talking to my husband. And he ain't, she was over there letting it be known in the moment. So it ain't like she just bumping her gums over here after the fact, after the fact, like some of the reality girls do.
I'm gonna have the gulliest of the gulliest bitches at the hotel.
She let it be known in the moment. Okay? So Trisha, girl, these names. Trisha asked about the Black Girl Magic Group. And Nell say she didn't know. She said that she would work with Kimmy and Latricia, but I don't really know about Tisha. And Trisha said, Tisha is not like that outside. Only when we get into a group setting.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Yeah. I figured that. In the group setting. On Own's Love and Marriage Huntsville, or Carlos King's Love and Marriage Huntsville, she thinks she's the queen bee. She thinks she's the queen bee, and I also feel like that she thinks that she could do and say whatever she wants because she's going to have Kimmy as backup. That now they sisters.
Dumb and dumber. No.
I remember early in the season, Kimmy didn't really want to be in no bullshit that Tisha had going on, but now they feel like they sisters, right? Because now our man is putting one in the mouth. One of the Sky brothers had his stuff in the mouth, and one of them had him in the back. The girl said she had both of them. So now they sticking together.
These bitches trying to child boo.
And they'll say, I feel like, us as a girl group, we need to set some boundaries. Then we got Chris and Lance. Okay? Now, baby, I'm just going to tell y'all what I think, and I got to make sense for me. So Lance shares the conversation that he had with Miss Nell offering to stay with him 2 nights of the week. But what Lance told Chris, he said, if I'm being honest, I could use a night or 2 or 3. Nigga, 3?
Who had been saying that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
She ain't say all that now. She said 2. Now Chris was talking about boundaries. This is a boundary. The woman said 2 nights a week. You up here, you don't want to tell this nigga 3. She never said 3. Chris say, I'm not good with it. Who would be good with their wife being gone 2 or 3 nights out of the week? And see, Chris is saying 3. And so he asked him, how would you feel if your wife was gone for 2 or 3 days out of the week? And I'm trying to understand. I would have told my mouth is a little slick. I would have told him, you're not able to survive without her for 2 or 3 nights a week? You don't think that you'll be able to go on without her 2 or 3 nights a week? And my thing with Lance is you don't know how to freak the system, right? You shouldn't have said 2 or 3. He shouldn't have even said 2 or 3 nights out of the week. You should have only said 2 because she said 2. And if you was going to say it, you should have said 1 or 2. 3 nights out of the week is half of the week. So you basically saying that I need mama to be there helping me out half of the time.
Hell no.
You should have presented it as 1 or 2 nights a week. You should know your parents and you should know how to get over. You should know how to get over. I know how to get over with mine. And so they ended up talking about boundaries and how Nell and Chris ended up pulling all of the kids together. Now, how many kids do Nell and Chris got? I thought they only had 2. Now, from what they said, if y'all paying attention to what was going on, from what they said, it seemed like Nell and Chris had the baby at first. It seemed like Nell and Chris had custody of the baby at first. And then it seemed like Lance moved in over there at the house with them. And then Lance took the baby and went home. So the baby was in Nell and Chris's custody because he said, we had the baby. Then Lance is over here now. And then he took the baby and went back home. And so he said that the boundaries have gone out the window. Then Chris said that he told Nell that you got to let the kids tough it out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you keep helping them, when will they step up to the plate and be an adult? And I think that's unfair. I can see if Lance came to Miss Nell, but he was handling it, or he was trying to handle it, and Nell offered the help. I feel like Nell staying over at the house 2 nights out of the week will help him out. It will keep him from going to that to a construction site, being on the 15th floor and falling asleep standing up. You know what I'm saying? And ended up dying.
Oh my God.
That will be an issue. If he's tired, I do believe that he should be able to get 1 or 2 good nights of sleep, and that'll set you off, right? Or at least 1 afternoon. He could be able to drop the kid off over there for 1 afternoon with Miss Nell. I believe that'll help him out. Better yet, Miss Nell staying at the house twice a week can help him be a better and present father for his baby. And I think that her staying over there 2 nights of the week is just a small task. It's not the end of the world. And Chris is saying that Lance needs to be accountable. And so when he says that he needs to be accountable, he said, I think that you need to reach out to Martell.
What? What?
He has his kids every other week. That's not the same. That's not the same. Having a baby all day, every day, and being a Sunday school teacher like Black China is two totally different things. Black China only have her kids on Sunday. That is totally different from a parent. And Martell get the kids every other week. That is totally different from somebody that's having their kids all 30 or 31 days of the month and somebody that's having them 14 days of the month. But the whole accountable, you need to be held accountable, to me is giving that Lance probably was married or in a relationship or something like that, and he done went over there and had an outside baby. And Chris probably don't respect it. Yeah, this is our grandbaby, but you messed up your home with your wife or whoever you was with, and you done had this baby, and you need to step up to the plate. You need to be held accountable. You don't really say accountable. You need to be accountable for this baby or what's going on with you and this baby if the baby was legitimate. And I don't mean to say that the baby is not legitimate. I don't mean to say it like that, but I mean that the way that the baby got here probably was on some fuck shit. Can we talk? That's what I'm taking from it. That the way that the baby got here was trifling. Again, they just found out, he called them out the blue. From what they telling us, he called them out the blue and say, hey, I got another baby. They didn't even know. They weren't able to throw a baby shower. You know what I'm saying? They weren't able to throw a gender reveal. Hey, we got another baby. So it gives me that the baby was had on some fuck shit or some hoe shit or whatever it was. And he ended up with this baby and he's stepping up to the plate, and Chris don't feel sorry for him that he don't got no help or no woman there to help him. That's what I'm getting from it. It also feels to me that Chris is trying to get Lance to refuse the help from Miss Nell because he knows that he's not going to be able to make Miss Nell not help Chris or come over there. So I feel like Chris is trying to get Lance to refuse the help.
You be all right, nigga. You tough, right?
You gonna be all right, nigga. You tough, right? You gonna be all right. You don't need your mama help. But I do think that that's unfair. I do think that that's unfair, especially because he was handling on his own, and he said that he was tired, and she came over there and offered the help. Now, I do think that if he owns a construction, I feel like every time somebody say they own a business, we thinking that they just walking around here millionaires. But I do think that if he owns a construction company, he should be able to hire some type of help. He should be able to hire some type of help where somebody can come in and stay in there for 2 hours. Well, he could get at least 4 hours of sleep when he get home from work. Have somebody over there where he can just get 4 hours of sleep while they watching the baby. I don't know. I believe that he can get a babysitter or anything. Come over there and watch the baby. It don't got to be missing. I mean, I would rather my baby be with my mama, but he could get some type of help. Next, we got Jaylen and Kimmy. This Kimmy, baby Kimmy, girl, this is a girl, okay? Jaylen came to meet Kimmy at work, okay? Jaylen said that he got good news. He got a job offer from a place in Huntsville, and they're giving him a high-paying salary. Well, he got a high-paying salary. He said that he did an interview, and they wanted to know about his job duties at Black. He said that he, started a business from the ground up. He helped start a business or operate a business manage a business from the ground up. He said they called him back 3 hours after the interview. They offered him a job with a certain type of pay. He counter offered, and they agreed with his counter offer, and he's getting paid a good sum of money. Now, speaking of Black, I bet you, I could guarantee y'all that Jaylen knows that Marceau is cheating on Tisha.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Be very clear.
I can guarantee you that Jaylen knows him being over there at Black and helping Marceau start Black, and especially with him being an Omega. And no shade to the Omegas. I'm just saying, I just know how they, rock out with your cock out. I just know how they get down. I could guarantee you that Jaylen knows that Marceau is over there cheating on Tisha. And he knows good and goddamn well that he can't tell Kimmy. He knows good and damn well he can't tell Kimmy. He'll never say it. But basically, Jaylen isn't going to Colorado anymore. I know Kimmy is happy about that. But he told Kimmy that he had a conversation with Maurice and Marceau about how Munster was treated compared to him. And he said that Maurice didn't get it. What took me out is Kimmy is sitting her pitiful ass up there saying that there's a little area of payoff to Maurice's approach to Jaylen.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Bitch, you literally sat up here and said that your husband neglecting and mistreating your child paid off for your child.
You's a stupid motherfucker.
And Jaylen said that he felt like the harsher treatment worked. Usually when a child is mistreated and neglected and there's a child that is favored, most of the time, the child that is mistreated and neglected, they turn out to be successful because they realize early on that they don't have nobody that they can depend on. They don't have no cushion to fall back on. So I believe that contributed to Jaylen's success along with Kimmy. I don't think it was nothing that Maurice did. I don't think that it was nothing that Maurice did. And so for Kimmy to even say that, and then Kimmy went on to say there's some things that Maurice could have changed back then, right now, and in the future, that you know that there is going to be more mistreatment towards Jaylen or more favoritism. Girl, I can't. I can't. I just would not be in a marriage like this. I would not be in a marriage where somebody had mistreated my child. Then we got Nell and Tisha. When I tell you Miss Nell stood on business in this scene, Miss Nell never got off her motherfucking square and she never let up. Okay? What I can appreciate about Miss Nell is that she's been popping her shit for the last couple of weeks and she stood on it in person. And we don't really see that with a lot of people on reality TV. And she meant business. I can tell that she meant business. Tisha ended up coming in. She said, girl, you got in my husband's face. You was on 100. And Tisha said, I don't remember being on 100. Girl, you shouldn't have been on 10. You shouldn't have been on 10 with my motherfucking husband. You don't remember being on 100 because you was drunk.
Drunk, ho?
So Tisha said in her confessional that she didn't like the way that Nell was talking to her and she didn't expect for her to get into it with Nell right then. But let's go. Tisha, I don't think that you was ready. You wasn't ready for Nell. She said, I don't remember being on 100. She remembered the conversation. Marceau said that they cleared it up. It was some misunderstanding or whatever. But it didn't make sense to me. But the thing is, Tisha, that is something that you should have discussed with your husband. He the one who told you that they discussed it. And when you asked him what he said it was chopped and screwed. And you should have said, well, what did he say? I want to know what he said. I like screw music too. I'm from Houston. And if it really meant that much to you, they could have discussed it in front of you. But Marceau has a way with you that I see with you that he could just get you to stop. And you're really upset at Marceau, but you want to take it out on everybody else. Tisha said that this is the second time that Chris has said something about Marceau. And Ms. Nell said, when was the first time? And she said that Chris said something about Marceau in Atlanta. Nell said, no, Marceau brought up Chris' name first in Atlanta. And so Nell said that she was in Atlanta with Chris. Tisha tries to make it seem like that Chris had to send Nell a selfie. And the thing, Tisha just be believing all kind of stupid shit. She just believe all type of stupid lies that Marceau got her believe. She was like, no, baby, I was with my husband. I didn't go with them to the commercial properties when Chris met with Marceau. But I was in Atlanta with my husband. He went to get me something to eat. He bought me back something to eat. But I was in Atlanta with my husband, and I knew where my husband went. So then they rolled that beautiful bean footage of Tisha in the car crying, looked like she was getting ready to cry. And Marceau told her that he went to Atlanta, that he met a friend there, and he went out to dinner. And Tisha asked who was that friend. And he said, Chris Fletcher.
Sheree, do you hear this lie?
Beautiful bean footage. And so once Miss Nell started laying everything out on the table, Tisha said, well, what does that have to do with what Chris said? And she said, well, you said that this is not the first time that Chris brought up Marceau. Marceau started that. She started losing the argument. Started losing. Then she says, don't get loud. Miss Nell's voice was the same tone the whole time. But what happens is you starting to look stupid, so you want to say that she getting loud. She not getting loud. And then Tisha say, well, if you're not going to be respectful, the conversation is going to end. But if we was going to be respectful, you would have came in and apologized for being on 50 or 97 or whatever you was on when you was talking to my husband. You would have came in and apologized about whatever you was on when your drunk ass came over there trying to talk hot shit to my husband, girl. But I let you make it because you was drunk. But don't pull that shit again, bitch. That's what Nell should have told her. But you wasn't trying to be respectful because you didn't even come in here trying to apologize. You came in here acting like you was standing on business and you got the running, bitch. They got the going back and forth and Tisha got up and she got the running.
Better get the running, bitch.
Okay, and said, if you want to have a conversation with me, hit me up later. You better get the running, bitch. You just said, let's go, Tisha, but you running? You just said, let's go, now you running? Now all of a sudden, Tisha is saying that she have meetings here with the parents of her kids' classmates. Right.
You're weak, honey.
Tisha is really mad at Marceau, and you try to take it out on everybody else. And that's why you keep running away from fights. You mad at Marceau. Marceau was making you look stupid. You over there going through Stockholm Syndrome, and you mad at everybody else. You mad at Chris for saying something about it, but you never checked Martell about it. What do you mean we already got over it? I was the one who was really affected. I'm the one that's over here looking like a fool. So I need to know exactly what he said. What did he say? Y'all shouldn't even discuss it while I'm not even in the presence. If you really want to get down to it, Tisha trying to make us believe that she is checking Martell, or she really, girl, you don't care. The nigga is cheating on you. But again, I'm loving the show. I mean, I'm loving Miss Nell on this show. Miss Nell is standing on business, and I love it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. But thank y'all so much for clicking on the video, y'all. I'm sorry that the review is late. I usually have it out by Sunday, but I had a lot going on this weekend. But thank you all for clicking on the video. I really appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.
Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it.